Welcome to GreenBiz Forum. I'm John Davies with GreenBiz. I'm here with Alex Wittenburg, a partner at Oliver Wyman. Welcome, Alex.
Thank you.
So, Alex, you were up on stage talking with Joel a little bit earlier, and one of the things I find interesting is how the profession of risk managers sort of matured and learned how to speak a language that was vital to the business, and what sort of lessons people working on sustainability may take from that.
One of the key things that came out of the risk management profession is that they started to become much more engaged with the external business and had less of an internal focus. So often they were viewed as the internal controls people, or the people that just looked at mitigating downside risk. And I think really they changed their stance in terms of becoming much more engaged with the strategy of the firm and looking at how risk impacted performance management. So I think getting engaged with those two processes, which every firm actually engages in, increased their relevance and made them more part of the everyday conversation in the firm and not just a siloed thing that happens once a year, or at least appears to happen once a year. I think the second thing that they did was to start looking at the metrics and language that they used. And they started, I think they fundamentally changed their metrics from things that were based in risk and interesting to risk people, and more towards the kinds of things that the company uses to measure itself. So looking at uncertainty in the business in terms of what does that mean in terms of earnings expectations and deviation from earnings expectations. I mean, it sounds very easy, but it is a fundamental shift in terms of how you discuss it. And I think in terms of language, a lot of what they did was to start using the language the business uses to describe itself, both operationally and strategically, and less about how risk professionals describe specific issues, which again engages the organization in a discussion that's much more familiar to everyone else in the organization.
So the other thing that I thought was really interesting is your organization works a lot on the annual report for the World Economic Forum,
right.
And the top 5 risks, or at least 5 out of the top 10 risks, all touch on sustainability. So was that a surprise to you? Is that sort of a change in how people have been looking at risk?
I think in some respects, yes. In others, no. And I think what's happened is there's been a maturing over time and a realization, I think, of the people that we survey in this, that a lot of these, you want to call them environmental or sustainability risks, are actually really interconnected with geopolitical risks, technological risks. So to a large extent, what you're really saying is that these things actually do interconnect with each other. And when you take it that way, you can see how something like climate change adaptation cascades into a geopolitical risk like instability in a country. So it's not so much surprising as it is, I think, a maturing of how people think about these risks intersecting with each other.
That's great. So I've been here with Alex Wittenburg with Oliver Wyman. Thanks, Alex.
Thank you.